from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health, better together. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Morning, Westfield. It is 6:04. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm having trouble with my microphone, so I couldn't see the date. Yes, so we are finally at the tail end of February. Yep. This is a psychological thing for me, Pete. I just feel like if I can make it through January and February, we've made it through the worst of the winter. This is how I always look at it. And by March, March is a tough month because we can get snow and we can get crummy weather. But I feel like, as you head into March and then out of March, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing,
that's reasonable.
January and February, it's just you got to slog through those months, and it is cold out there this morning, folks. It's 16 degrees, still a little breezy. I wouldn't actually say windy, but I stopped by the senior center on my way over. It was windy the past 2 days. Windy, very windy the past couple of days. Our flag at the senior center this morning, which I thought I was going to lose the other day. I thought the whole pole was going to come down and land on the building. It was actually scary.
The fire department took the flags down on the green on Park Square.
Well, and we would have taken the flags down, but then we realized that that Alex, our building maintenance craftsman, had not kind of created a path to get to the flag when he plowed. Yeah. So you need hip boots right now to get through the snow, to get through to the flag to take it down. So oops. Oops, exactly. So Mary Lou, who's usually the flag person, said, all right, well, Alex he's either going to slog through the snow or he's going to, create a little path for us.
Sure.
But anyway, so flag this morning was waving, but not, flapping dangerously or anything. So there was a little breeze out there. We are expecting, I guess what they're calling for is a tiny bit of snow this afternoon.
An Alberta clipper.
But
So they're talking about after 5, we'll see light snow, heaviest snow maybe after 9 or 10, and then it'll be wrapped up by about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Alberta clipper.
Which would be great. So the question is, if it wraps up at 2 a.m., are we going to manage to squeak through without a delayed opening, or do we? We don't know that. If
the DPW jumps on it, I wouldn't see why not.
I'm really hoping, because we do taxes tomorrow, and last Thursday we had to do a delayed opening, and that really messes us all up, and we have to reschedule. And we don't want to do that, so we're hoping we can make it through this. But anyway, dress warmly today, folks. So listen, Pete, right out of the gate, I have to mention, because because this has to do with our first song choice. Today, these are two great national days for me, so I'm super excited. First of all, number one, it is National Kahlua Day. Now, for a person whose beverage of choice is a White Russian, when she's imbibing, National Kahlua Day is kind of cool and important. So, February 27th recognizes National Kahlua Day. This day was created as a day for those over the age of 21 to enjoy this creamy, rich alcoholic liqueur. To celebrate, you may want to use Kahlua, a coffee-flavored rum-based liqueur, to flavor your ice cream or another dessert such as cheesecake or cake. It also tastes great in coffee, hot chocolate, creamy cocktails, as a shot, or on the rocks. Pedro Demick began producing Kahlua in 1936. Bless his soul. Kahlua is made from coffee and rum, so it does contain caffeine. Kahlua is found to be used in a few notable cocktails, including White Russians, which are vodka, Kahlua, and light cream. However, I get away with using like 0% fat milk, so it's like. But you know what?
Don't cheat.
No, it tastes. I'm actually really used to it with that. So now when I go out and I order one, it just seems like almost milkshaking to me, which is kind of nice and a special, but almost a dessert in and of itself. A Black Russian, which is just vodka and Kahlua. A B52, which is, you have to layer these in this order. Kahlua on the bottom, and then Bailey's Irish Cream, and then Grand Marnier on the top.
Oh, my God. That would kill me.
Yeah. A Mudslide, which is my daughter Grace's. She loves those. So that's vodka, Kahlua, and Bailey's Irish Cream. And usually those are like frozen. Yeah, exactly. And then a Caribbean Mudslide, which this sounded good. It's Kahlua, Bailey's Irish Cream, and instead of the vodka, you use Malibu rum. I don't think I've ever had a Caribbean Mudslide, but hey, who am I to, not try something on National Kahlua Day?
Go to the Caribbean to try one.
Well, I think I could probably whip one up in my kitchen or downstairs, and we have a pub downstairs. I think I could just do that. So anyway, happy National Kahlua Day. And then it is also, this is another fun day for me. So it is National Retro Day. Mm-hmm. So Hermelinda Aguilar and Robert and Tina Duran founded National Retro Day. I really like this, though, to take a look back at how life was before social media, the internet, and smartphones became a necessity of our daily lives. Every generation looks back and asks, remember when? National Retro Day indulges our love of the good old days while remaining in the present. Mm-hmm. No matter the decade, pick a point in time where people talked more face-to-face than text-to-text, had dinner at home around the table, and the kids played games that didn't require internet service. What's your retro? On National Retro Day, swoop the hair into a mile-high beehive or strut those 8-inch bell-bottoms. Can you maximize the curls for a stellar afro?
That's a little too retro for me.
Don't hesitate to break out the old roller skates and see if you still have those mad skills. Tie the hair up with a polka dot bandana and strike a muscle pose like Rosie the Riveter. Maybe you prefer a moonwalk, a leather jacket, and a single glove. With no smartphones, internet, and social media, we spent more time focused on each other when we were together.
Amen to that.
You know what, Pete? I agree. I got to read that again. With no smartphones, internet, and social media, we spent more time focused on each other when we were together.
Yep.
Each moment recorded in memory for us to look back retrospectively and not for the whole world to see. So, happy National Retro Day.
There's some parts I don't mind about the life today, and there's some parts that I do.
I think, when we've talked about this, and I know others have, Bob and Jay, when they've been on the show as well, there's a nicety to connecting with people that the internet has allowed us to. Yeah, long distance, people that, out of, old high school friends or whatever, where in the old days, if you lost touch, you just lost touch. You had no way of knowing that one of your high school friends moved to California.
Right.
And the other thing, too, I think, was when you go back to some of those friendships in high school or even acquaintances, I found with class reunions, sometimes what you find is the people that you had the least amount in common with back then, you've got a lot in common with now.
Sure.
And vice versa. People that you were really close with, and now you kind of get together and say, well, we don't really have much to talk about. We don't have a lot in common. So I think that piece of the internet has been really good, but it really drives me nuts when I'm in a restaurant and I'm seeing, especially like a couple who, you kind of assume this is a sort of a date or a romantic thing, and they're both on cell phones. They're both texting to someone else, and I'm thinking...
Or even worse, that everybody's clamoring to see a sex tape of Bob Kraft. I mean, that's the biggest thing right now.
I know.
How bad is that?
That is bad. That is bad.
That's become the highest bidding war amongst news organizations to find a salacious tape of somebody. It's like, okay, so he got charged. Let him get... It hasn't even gone to court yet.
Right.
I could see if the court case was over and somebody got it. But I'm like, no, I don't need to see that.
Right.
I don't want to see that.
Exactly. So just on National Retro Day, just reconnect with, a loved one, somebody in your life, a friend, a coworker, whatever. So Pete, what, so I jumped right into the old National Day.
Yeah, that's fine.
So anything new since we saw you last week? Anything big and exciting? Anything new? You know what? I know what was new and exciting since we saw you last. You had the big baseball thing over at the shortstop, and that was all over the news that night.
The Starfires.
Yeah. So that's going to be the name because I think you couldn't divulge it.
Yep, they had packages that they're selling on their website for I think it's $159 or $99. It's like season ticket packages.
Explain to our listeners because some might not have listened in last week and they didn't know what the big hoo-ha was.
So it's the Collegiate Futures Baseball League, New England Collegiate Futures. It's kind of like the Cape League is kind of like the premier of that.
Yeah,
class.
okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Is this similar to the Cape League?
Yeah, but this is for the younger college students, like freshmen, sophomores. So it's the first experience into semi-pro baseball.
Okay.
So most of these kids move on to a Cape Cod League, and then from the Cape Cod League, and even there's sometimes if they're really good, there's scouts down here from minor league teams and major league teams and stuff like that. So it's a good exposure for them. It gives them more baseball, it extends their season by 50 games, 56 games. And it gives them a taste of what a long season would be like in the minor leagues and the major leagues.
And now when will they be playing? They're
going to start right after the college teams wrapped up, so like mid to late May.
Okay.
And then I think right through, they're going to have a cram schedule into May, June, and July. Babe Ruth, I know, is already working to try to schedule their stuff around the collegiate stuff, around the high school stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
So Bollins Field is going to be active. There's not going to be many down days on Bollins Field for the months of May, June, and July.
Right. And so this will be an opportunity, this league, and they're called the Starfires?
Westfield Starfires.
Westfield Starfires.
Their logo looks like an old F-104.
Oh, how cool.
Very reminiscent of an F-104.
That's really neat. So, and this will be an opportunity for Westfield residents if they want to go to a ball game. You can go to a ball game. How great is that?
Yep.
So now to go back to what you were saying, Pete, they were selling packages. Is that the
so season ticket packages? Yeah. I think the price points were $159 and $99. So that's not bad at all.
And is that really, like all the games you want to go to?
All the home games, yeah.
How nice.
I believe that's what it is.
Yeah.
So you can get details on their website. If you look up Westfield Starfires, you'll find them.
Okay.
And I think it's a pretty good deal, honestly.
Yeah.
We're going to try to broadcast some of the games with the equipment that we bought for the World Series to be a good tune-up for that as well. So.
Now, do we know what their colors are going to be? Do we know that? Like their uniform colors?
Hold on.
Do we know?
Hold on. I think I have that. I have a picture of it because I took the picture. That's their color scheme.
Oh, okay. So like a kind of a medium
and yellow,
blue, blue and gold, blue and yellow. Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, it must have been. I mean, I went when I drove by there because what did I had something else that I was doing that night. I don't remember what meeting or something. I couldn't go. And anyway, when I drove by, you were. Was that Wednesday or Thursday night?
When it was snowing, it was Wednesday.
Okay. I am Pete. It seems like that was about 6 months ago.
I know.
I can barely remember what I did last night and 2 nights ago. So, but I do remember going by the parking lot and it was full. Yep. It was. We had over 200 people turn out on a snowy night for this. So it was really heartening. And then this weekend I kind of hung out at the house. Did a little chilling.
Yeah, I think I needed some downtime.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good enough. Yesterday, I have to talk to you about yesterday. Well, you know what? I can't talk to you about that now because I just realized it's 6:16. So we'll take our first break, and then I got to tell you about some stuff that happened at the senior center yesterday, which was really kind of fun. So it is 6:16. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. So this song is by Alan Jackson with a little Jimmy Buffett thrown in at the end. It's called "It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere," and it is in honor of National Kahlua Day.
Sun is hot and that old clock is moving slow, and so am I. Workday passes like molasses in wintertime, but it's July. I'm getting paid by the hour and older by the minute. My boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him something, I think I'll just call it a day. Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. This lunch break is gonna take all afternoon and half the night. Tomorrow morning I know there'll be hell to pay. Hey, but that's alright. I ain't had a day off now in over a year. My Jamaican vacation's gonna start right here. If the phone's for me, you can tell them I just sailed away. And pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Myself in a cab and be back to work before 2. At a moment like this, I can't help but wonder, what would Jimmy Buffett do?
Funny you should ask, Alan. I'd say, pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. Something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care.
You don't care. I don't care.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. What time zone am I on? What country am I in?
It doesn't matter, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's always on 5 in Margaritaville, come to think of it.
I heard that.
You've been there, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
I've seen your boat there.
I've been to Margaritaville a few times.
All right, well, that's good.
Stumbled my way back.
Okay, well, we just want to make sure you can keep it between the navigational beacons.
Between the buoys, I got it.
All right, well, it's 5 o'clock. Let's go somewhere.
I'm ready, crank it up.
Let's get out of here.
I'm gone.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardie siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:21. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. I'm struggling with this microphone today, Pete. It's like doing its own
annoying
thing.
you?
Yeah, it's just kind of flopping around. All right. I don't know. So listen, I have to tell you what happened yesterday at the Senior Center. So we started a new series that I'm calling the Lunch and Learn series. So that'll be maybe 3 or 4 times a year. You know, not we're not going to do it every week or anything. But it's kind of a combination of lunch, usually something really yummy. Like yesterday we had meatloaf. So, of course, we had 100 people in the house. And then a short, like maybe 15 or 20-minute presentation between the entree and dessert on whatever the topic of the day is.
Sure, yeah.
So yesterday we had John Berkowitz from the Western Mass Death with Dignity organization, and John was actually on our radio show maybe 6 or 8 months ago, just to talk about the End of Life Options Act, which is a piece of legislation right now that's it's at Beacon Hill. Sort of gaining some momentum and strength. And so anyway, I just wanted him to come in, not get into the moral aspect of, end of life,
which is wide ranging.
Yeah, which is very wide ranging, and it can be very emotionally charged. People have strong feelings about it. I get that. What I wanted him to do was just explain the legislation. So if this piece of legislation passed, this is what would happen. This is what it would mean. This is who it would affect, and so forth. And I did that partly because we had a meeting with he and a few other constituents had a meeting with Representative Vilas, and they had invited me to attend that meeting back in January, which I did. And of course, they were kind of, enlisting the support of Rep Vilas. And Rep Vilas's take on it was, he's, I think, kind of neutral, but it's like, where do my constituents stand on this?
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. And John, Rep Vilas looked at me and said, Tina, how do the seniors feel about this? And I said, I honestly don't know. Let's ask them.
Wouldn't that be the population it would affect the most?
Probably. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why John was concerned about where do they stand on it.
Sure.
And so what we did was we had John Berkowitz come and explain the legislation. The meal was delicious, and he was available afterward. Rep Vilas attended the luncheon, and afterward he was available. He stuck around for a good hour and a half after it was over, kind of went table to table, sort of getting a feel from the seniors.
That's actually
on what
a great
are they thinking.
idea.
You know what? It was
it's a representative sample,
so great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and I honestly don't know what he heard. I don't know. I mean, I think over the next couple of days it'll sort of come out, and I think if nothing else, it stirred up a lot of conversation. So I think we'll be hearing a lot of conversation, and that's a good thing. I mean, and as I said to people, you just need to let your local legislators know where you stand on issues. So highly successful. So anyway, that was our big deal. And I shout out to John Berkowitz for taking the time, but also to Rep Vilas, who was really at the Senior Center for several hours yesterday, sort of trying to get his information, and of course, sort of
it makes him an informed legislator going in too, and to know what the real people are thinking instead of just saying here are the experts and here's what they think.
Yeah, or here's what I think. Yeah, exactly. Because of course he's got the experts chirping in his ear.
They're going to present at the State House, so
yes. Yeah.
Now it's just like, okay, what do the real people think?
It was interesting too. There was one thing that I learned yesterday about this piece of legislation that I don't think I knew before. But John Berkowitz was saying that initially, because this has been going on for years, something
it's
like
been
this.
Since Kevorkian, 2 decades?
Right, and they keep sort of modifying and changing and so forth.
Right.
But initially, the Mass Medical Association, Mass Medical Society, I guess, was against it.
Yep.
Now it's been rewritten, reworked, lots of safeguards put in, and they have changed their position to I think, what do they call it? Engaged neutrality. So they're, sort of open to it, but not, not against. Not they're not coming out and saying we're for it, but they're coming
neutral.
out and saying they're neutral, which is, that's an interesting stand.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have some famous birthdays. So the first one that I want to talk about, probably more at length than the others, is Ralph Nader. Ralph Nader is 85 years old today. He's an attorney, a consumer advocate, anti-war and environmental activist. He was born February 27th, 1934 in Winsted, Connecticut. I did not realize that Ralph Nader was a New Englander.
I was pretty sure he was, because I remember him starting his campaigns in New England.
Yeah, so get a load of this. So he graduated from Princeton University, and he attended Harvard Law School. While there, he served as the editor of the Harvard Law Record, in which he published his first article on the automobile industry entitled "American Cars Designed for Death." So right out of the gate, we kind of
don't mince words, Ralph.
Yeah, exactly, Ralph. Tell us what's really on your mind. Nader argued that auto fatalities did not result just from driver error, but from poor vehicle design as well. He returned to Connecticut in 1959, settling in Hartford, where he began to practice law. In 1961, Nader also began to teach history and government at the University of Hartford. I did not know that. By 1963, however, he had grown bored with practicing law and decided to relocate to Washington, D.C., where he hoped to make more of a difference. He did not have to wait long. 1 year later, Nader's college article on auto safety and design caught the attention of Assistant Secretary of Labor Daniel P. Moynihan, who had long been interested in automobile safety and design. Moynihan hired Nader as a part-time consultant at the Labor Department. After leaving the Labor Department in May of 1969, Ralph Nader proceeded to write what would become his breakout book called Unsafe at Any Speed, The Designed In Dangers of the American Automobile, published in November of that year. In the book, Nader criticized the auto industry for putting style and power over safety and questioned the federal government's lax attitude on regulation. In the late 1960s and mid-1970s, Ralph Nader mobilized college students to form public interest research groups, which aided his investigations in public policy and effective government regulation. His professional associates, sometimes referred to as Nader's Raiders, and I do remember that expression.
I do.
Yep. Published reports on a wide range of subjects, including baby food, insecticides, mercury poisoning, and coal mine safety. Nader also founded the Center for Responsive Law in 1968 and Public Citizen, Inc. in 1971. Idealistic and modest, he became known among his associates for his Spartan personal habits and long working hours. He lived it. He walked the walk.
He
absolutely
might have been a little nuts sometimes, but he walked the walk.
He did walk the walk and became involved politically. He ran for president, I think,
yes, he did.
A couple of times.
I had problems with the purgs, the mass purg, when I went to college, because at state colleges it was compulsory. You had to pay them no matter whether you wanted to join or not.
I
had a big problem with that. Oh yeah, you didn't have a choice.
Know that.
Yep. You had it. You part of your tuition went to mass purg, whether you wanted it or not. And I had a real problem with that when I went to stick.
Huh. I did not know
And I
that.
told them that, too.
Yeah. Well, Pete, yeah, good for you. Just, outspoken. I mean, even whether you agree or disagree with
their mission,
their mission, it was like, hey, why do I have to pay for this?
And and the thing was I researched it. At the one point, they did have a good mission, and then at some point, they became an activist group in the wrong sense. And I went, you guys went around the corner.
Yeah. And you know what? Unfortunately, that happens to a lot of organizations. They start out kind of on one track and then segue somewhere else.
Then humans get involved.
Yeah. It's like, what happened here?
As with any organization, then humans get involved.
Yeah. But anyway, so happy 85th birthday to Ralph Nader. So, and he did do a lot, for auto safety.
Did.
I remember the car
he
that
made seatbelts mandatory.
He did.
He literally single-handedly pushed that through.
He did. And it was very interesting because back in the 1960s, my family, we were involved in a horrendous car accident in northern New Jersey. It was on Route 3. We were actually heading into New York City to take my aunt to the airport. Mm-hmm. To return to Canada. And it was really foggy. We were driving down Route 3, which is a major highway. And the fog got so dense at one point you couldn't see in front of you at all. What had happened is there had been an accident. So there was a dead stop. So we stopped. There were just cars in front of us. It was and behind us was a bus, a Greyhound bus that stopped. And barreling down the highway at about 60 or 65 miles an hour was a tractor trailer who did not stop. He just didn't. It was so foggy.
Couldn't see,
didn't stop, hit the bus hit us. We hit the car in front of us. I mean, it was just this chain reaction. It was about a 15-car accident when all was said and done. But we were behind we were in front of this Greyhound bus. I mean, it wasn't, and it was the impact. We were we were at the tail end. You know what I mean? I mean, whatever car was 15 cars up got hit, but it wasn't
minor damage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was pretty major. It wasn't our car was total, but it was, and
that's when cars were built like a tank.
Yes, and ours was a station wagon. It was interesting because
now you'd be dead.
Well, my parents thought we were dead because my brother and I were in the back of the wagon. But going back to the seatbelt, it was the first car that we owned. It was the car was 5 weeks old, and it had seatbelts in it. It had 4 seatbelts in it. And so because when they originally started putting seatbelts in cars, that's all they put in, passenger, driver, and then 2 in the back seat. Mm-hmm. And so, and my father swears to this day that the only reason they're alive and that my parents didn't go through the windshield was because of their seatbelts.
Sure.
So it was interesting, Pete, because after that accident, of course, we had to buy a new car. So my father said to the car dealership, I want 5 seatbelts in the car. Well, they don't come with 5 seatbelts. They only come with 4. And no, actually, my dad said he wanted 6 because we had bench seats in the front.
Yep.
And he said, I want 6 seatbelts in the car, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. Well, they don't come that way. They come with 4. My father said, well, put in 2. Well, we can't. And they were giving my dad a hard time. And my father finally looked at the guy and he said, you know what? We were just involved in a major car accident with major injuries. There were my brother and I, believe it or not, in the back were like the 2 that walked away. So he said, so which 2 of my children do you think are expendable and don't need the seatbelts?
Oops.
And the guy found a way to put 6 seatbelts in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, anyway, happy birthday to Ralph Nader. It is 6:33. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. We are going to, in honor of the birthday of Ralph Nader and in honor of National Retro Day, I thought I'd play a couple of car songs. So, this one is Chuck Berry singing No Particular Place to Go.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild. Cruising and playing the radio, with no particular place to go. Riding along in my automobile, I was anxious to tell her the way I feel. So I told her softly and sincere, and she leaned and whispered in my ear, cuddling more and driving slow, with no particular place to go. Particular place to go. So we parked way out on the Kokomo. The night was young and the moon was gold, so we both decided to take a stroll. Can you imagine the way I felt? I couldn't unfasten a safety belt, riding along in my calaboose, still trying to get her belt to loose. All the way home I held a grudge for the safety belt that wouldn't budge. Cruising and playing the radio, with no particular place to go.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:37. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
So let's go through some of these other famous birthdays. A lot of famous people were born on the 27th. This is like the tip of the iceberg. So honestly, some days are just amazing, and then there are others that's like, come on, when nobody was doing anything.
Give me one.
Yeah, but this one, we have a lot. So it is the birthday of the late author John Steinbeck. He was born February 27th, 1902 in Salinas, California. He died in December 20th, 1968 at the age of 66. John Ernest Steinbeck Jr. was a Nobel and Pulitzer Prize winning American novelist and the author of Mice and Men, The Grapes of Wrath, and East of Eden. There were like a zillion other books that he wrote, half of which, we all probably read when we were in high school as mandatory reading. Steinbeck dropped out of college and worked as a manual laborer before achieving success as a writer. His works often dealt with social and economic issues. His 1939 novel, The Grapes of Wrath, about the migration of a family from the Oklahoma Dust Bowl to California, won a Pulitzer Prize and a National Book Award. Steinbeck served as a war correspondent during World War II for the New York Herald Tribune, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1962. So happy birthday to the late John Steinbeck.
By the way, I just backed up 9 months.
Okay.
It's Memorial Day weekend.
Ah, okay. Now we know why there were a lot of famous people born on February 27th. A lot of activity going on that long weekend there.
Sure.
Also the birthday of Chelsea Clinton. Chelsea Clinton was born February 27th, 1980 in Little Rock, Arkansas. She's 39. I can't believe Chelsea Clinton is 30. She's going to be 40 years old next year.
Well,
It's making me feel, I know, right? Chelsea Clinton spent part of her youth as a public figure as the daughter of President Bill Clinton and future Senator and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. She attended Stanford University and went to Columbia for an MPH, a Master's in Public Health. She became an NBC News correspondent in 2011, a position she held for just shy of 3 years. She left the network in August of 2014 to focus on her family and her father's foundation. She's an advocate for women's rights, AIDS research, and global humanitarianism. So happy 39th birthday to Chelsea Clinton. It is also the birthday of actress Joanne Woodward. She is 89 years old today. She was born February 27th, 1930 in Thomasville, Georgia. Woodward made her first television appearance in 1952 and then worked in theater where she met her future husband, Paul Newman. In 1957, Joanne Woodward won a Best Actress Academy Award for the film The Three Faces of Eve. In the movie, she portrayed a woman with three distinct personalities: a Southern housewife, a vixen, and a well-adjusted young woman. Woodward gave each her own unique voice and gestures. And at the time, I saw Three Faces of Eve probably in the late 60s, so probably about 10 years after it came out. But, it's a film based on multiple personalities.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that multiple? Yeah.
It is. And, at the time, that was not well studied or well researched. So I think just the content of the film was sort of way ahead of its time. Yeah, and they said, she did do an amazing role because you literally she literally had to play 3 very different people, all in the same body. So,
it was told like in first person of, yeah.
Yeah, it was, exactly. And she started out in at the beginning of the film where she's playing this very, sort of humble Southern housewife, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do kind of thing. Almost in this day and age would be kind of considered subservient, but back then was sort of the norm. And, the beginning of the movie, so you have that flavor. And then somewhere along the line, there's this other scene where she's this completely, almost this rebel, and it's the same body, but she's dressing differently. And yeah, exactly. And then it's a great film. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. Other Academy Award nominations for Joanne Woodward included Rachel, in which Woodward gave an amazing performance as an old maid school teacher still hoping for love, and Summer Wishes, Winter Dreams, that was in 1973, in which she played a woman suffering from frigidity. In 1990, Woodward and husband Paul Newman starred in the drama Mr. and Mrs. Bridge. She played a wife and a mother who has spent much of her life lost in her conservative lawyer husband's shadow, played by Paul Newman. For her deeply nuanced work, Woodward scored her 4th Academy Award nomination. I think this is so cool. So in 1990, in that same year, she also received her college degree. She graduated from Sarah Lawrence College alongside her youngest daughter, Claire, or Clea Newman, as her nickname is. For 50 years, Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman have been regarded as one of the most successful and enduring love stories of Hollywood. Paul Newman died of cancer at the age of 83 at their farmhouse in Westport, Connecticut in 2008. So happy 89th birthday to Joanne Woodward. And it is also, Pete's got a little more music here in the background, some audio.
Because I noticed he wasn't on the playlist today because you were retro.
I know, I went retro. And you know what? I forgot because I had a Josh Groban song picked out. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It is the birthday of singer-songwriter Josh Groban. He was born February 27th, 1981 in Los Angeles, California. He's 38 years old today. In late 1998, 17-year-old Josh Groban was introduced by his vocal coach, Seth Riggs, to Grammy-winning producer and arranger David Foster and future manager Brian Avnet. At that time, Groban had no recording experience and was preparing to begin studying at Carnegie Mellon University. Groban worked for David Foster as a rehearsal singer on a series of high-profile events, including the January 1999 inauguration of Gray Davis as governor of California and the 1999 Grammy Awards, where, as a stand-in for Andrea Bocelli, he rehearsed Foster's The Prayer with Celine Dion. According to manager Avnet, Groban was very nervous about standing in for Bocelli and had to be talked into it. But his performance prompted the show hostess, Rosie O'Donnell, to ask him to appear on her show the following week, which then led to an appearance on Ally McBeal. Creator David E. Kelly created character Malcolm Wyatt for Groban in the season finale, aired in May of 2001. The character of Malcolm Wyatt was so popular with viewers that Josh Groban was asked to return the next season to reprise his role and to perform the song To Where You Are. Avnet claims this sequence of events effectively got Groban's career off the ground. Josh Groban's albums have sold more than 35 million copies around the world. He's an awesome singer. So happy, what did I say, 38th? Is that how old Josh Groban is? Yeah, yes. 38th birthday to Josh Groban. And I do remember I heard him on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on National Public Radio probably about 2 years ago, describing when he got the call that they needed him to stand in for the rehearsal of the Grammys. So his mother answered the phone and said, Josh, you have a phone call. And he took it and he was on the phone for a minute and then he hung up. And his mother said to him, well, she knew who it was, but she said, well, what did they want? And he said, well, they wanted me to, stand in for Andrea Bocelli at the rehearsal for the Grammys. And And she was like, well, okay. And he said, yeah, I told him, no, I'm studying for a history exam. I will never forget that. And he was laughing when he told the story. I mean, he said, because he said, I was upstairs studying for a history exam. And I kept thinking, I've got this test coming up and I've got to do well and so forth. And I got this phone call and, he's like, yeah, no, I can't do that. I got this exam on Monday. And, his mother's like, call them back. Are you out of your mind?
Exactly.
So can you imagine? So I have one more, it's not a national famous birthday, but it's a Westfield famous birthday. Not today, but tomorrow is the birthday of Louise Fleming. Louise is a regular at the Senior Center. I don't think she usually comes on Wednesdays. I don't think she's going to be there today. I think she's going to be there Friday. Louise will be 103 years old tomorrow. Yeah.
Good for her.
And she is as sharp as ever, and she has the most delightful sense of humor. She is just amazing. She's an awesome individual. If you have an opportunity and you see her at the Senior Center, she is the only person who I will do a reserved table for at either at a special party or something like that. And I have told people, if you have a problem like that, I said I will do that for anyone who is who turns 100 at the Senior Center. If you are 100 or older, if you're a centenarian, I will give you special treatment.
There you go.
All right. It is 6:47. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. So I just want to mention, coming up second hour, we have Beth Cardillo, who will be joining us. We're going to talk about dementia-friendly Massachusetts. So that's a whole movement across the state, which is really kind of cool and very progressive. And then after my show today is Rock on Westfield with Harry Rock. So I want to throw that one out there as well. So our song, this is, we're doing another this is in honor of Ralph Nader's birthday, another car song. It's Little GTO by Ronnie and the Daytonas, and of course, Little National Retro Day thrown in there as well.
Little GTO, you really looking fine. 3 deuces and a 4-speed and a 389. Listen to her tacking up now. Listen to her whine. Come on and turn it on, wind it up, blow it out, GTO. Yeah, little GTO. You ought to see her on a road course or a corner mile. This little modified ponton has got plenty of style. She beats the gassers and the rail jobs, really drives them wild. Come on and turn it on, wind it up, blow it out, GTO. Gonna save all my money and buy a GTO. Get a helmet and a roll bar, and I'll be ready to go. Take it out to Pomona and let them know, that I'm the coolest thing around. Little buddy gonna shut you down. When I turn it on, wind it up, blow it out, GTO.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:51. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 27th. So we're at the very end of the month of February. And speaking of that, that means that this past Saturday, our March Voice of Experience newsletter hit the streets as an insert into the Westfield News. So we have lots of things going on in March. So please make sure that you pick up a copy. They are pretty much all over the city. And of course, they are at the Senior Center. So please do that. We have several things coming up at the Senior Center that we need to do an announcement, but our most important thing and coming up this Sunday is our Friends of the Westfield Senior Center Westfield Trivia Contest. That it will be Sunday, March 3rd, which is this Sunday at 2 p.m. Tickets are $5. All tickets are sold in advance at the Senior Center. We will have, so here's how this is going to work. You'll be in teams of 7 sitting at a round table. There will be 50 questions total. Half of the questions have to do with Westfield, and that's in honor of the 350th.
Gotcha.
So, for instance, and I think, some of the seniors were a little nervous about signing up because I think they thought you have to be like really smart. Like, this is not Jeopardy, folks. So Patrick Berry said to me the other day, we'll throw out a few just kind of sample type questions. These will not be questions. But, for instance, what is the name of the Chinese restaurant that closed recently that was, sort of the famous Chinese restaurant in Westfield? Well, all my seniors knew that. They're all screaming, "It was Sue's."
I know that. Yeah. I know that, and it was torn down.
Yeah,
recently.
Right. Exactly. It was torn down recently. So it'll be those kinds of questions about Westfield. Certainly, if you picked up one of the 350 books, the book about Westfield,
you might have a clue.
Yeah, there might be some things right out of that book.
I have my book at home.
Yeah. So anyway, and so you can sign up. We've had some groups that have signed up 7 people, to a table. And then there are other groups that have, 3 or 4. So they want to sit together, and then we'll put some other people with you. And then we have some people that are just doing it on, signing up on their own, and we're putting tables together. So if you sign up as a single, we have some single tables going, and we're just, adding
might need
to
some
it.
New people.
Yeah, absolutely. Make some new friends, and it might be a real eclectic group. So this is going to be a lot of fun. The 7 members of the winning team will get a $25 gift card each to the Shortstop Bar and Grill,
and that's open to the general public, right?
It is open to the general public. Anybody can do it. Absolutely. No, not just seniors. It's open to the public.
I want to make sure that was clear.
Absolutely. We're going to have, you can purchase raffle tickets for a 50-50 drawing. You can purchase raffle tickets for a Lucky Lottery Leprechaun basket. We will have $100 worth of lottery tickets in that basket. And then some other things, and that one's kind of an Irish theme. And an ice cream sundae to go for everyone. A nice large ice cream sundae to go. All proceeds will benefit the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center. The public is welcome. So please, by all means, come on down, get your tickets, $5. It's, we do the March fundraiser as just a fun thing to do to get out of your house. It's the middle of the day. You don't have to worry about driving at night or going out when it's freezing cold, because I think Sunday's actually going to be a decent day, like in the 30s. Like, yeah. So come on down and support the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center on Sunday with some Westfield trivia. Tomorrow at the Senior Center, we have Gary Wynn coming. He's a licensed hearing instrument specialist based in Southwick. He will be at the Senior Center at 1 o'clock. He's going to do a presentation on hearing aids because I have a lot of people saying, well, how do you know? I have a hearing loss, but how do I know if it's enough of a loss to use the hearing aid? Will a hearing aid help? Right. How much does a hearing aid cost? What kinds are there? So he's going to cover sort of just a general, but he's also going to bring his otoscope, and for anybody who would like him to check in their ears after the presentation, he'll be happy to do that as well. Lots of opportunities for people to ask questions. So that will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And the reason that I got Gary Wynn is because I've had some seniors who have utilized his services in Southwick and said he's really great. They really like him a lot. So they asked me if I would bring him to the senior center, and I did. Next Wednesday on this radio show, next week is Retire the Fire Week, which is, I think, our 7th annual. It's an educational program about fire safety for older adults in particular in Westfield.
And your guest is?
My guest will be Acting Chief Pat Egloff. And
nice to see Pat again.
It will be, yep. Oh, he's looking very fine. He's lost a lot of weight, and he looks fantastic. And, yep, so Pat will be here next Wednesday on the show, second hour. Dr. Gary Gorman will be back first hour. We haven't seen Gary in a couple of months because he was vacationing down in the Dominican on his golf trip last month in February. So anyway, Pat will be here, but Pat will also be at the Senior Center next Thursday for our annual Senior Safety Luncheon. So tickets for that are available now. You may purchase no more than 4 tickets. They're the regular $3 lunch price. Our luncheon menu for our senior safety luncheon is meatloaf with sweet glaze, mashed potatoes, green beans, and chocolate Oreo pudding for dessert. So Pat will be speaking probably from like 11:30 to 12. He will, as I said to the seniors, he'll be sharing some stories, which is what makes his presentation so interesting. It's always interesting when they share local stories of situations, fires, emergency calls. But the whole idea behind sharing those stories is what are the lessons that we learned? What are the things, if there were mistakes that were made by seniors and they put themselves in harm's way, how can you avoid that? So Pat will be talking about that, but he's also going to talk about, I find the smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector laws in Massachusetts to be very confusing. And the reason
confusing?
The reason I discovered that they're so confusing is because Massachusetts has some of the strictest fire code laws in the country. So Pat is going to explain, the difference between the types of detectors, because I've had people say, well, I need to replace my detectors or I need to put in detectors. You go to the store, there's like 25. How do I know which one to buy?
Sometimes there's combo ones. There's things
right, exactly. So Patrick's going to talk a little bit about that at the luncheon and probably on air next week as well. So get your tickets for a senior safety luncheon. That's coming up. We have a program that we're partnering with Westfield High School called Faces of Westfield. It's a special 350th anniversary project.
I hope Mrs. Fleming's going to be on that. 103-year-old Miss Fleming.
Thank you, Pete. I will pass that along.
I love capturing octogenarians.
And I will tell you, she has, going back to Louise Fleming, she served in World War II. She was a nurse in World War II, but she had a very interesting job. Her job was, she was actually stationed in Italy, and she said it was the bright spot in the war because there were a lot of American soldiers who were marrying Italian women and starting families. Her job was, she was doing the birthing babies over there because, kind of the U.S. government sort of said, well, this is, it's kind of our responsibility. These are our soldiers. And, there was nothing illicit or anything like that. They were falling in love and getting married while they were, on active duty. And yeah, she's got and she was also a special ed teacher in West Springfield for many years. So
there you go.
Some great stories.
That's what
Good idea. We're on it. I'm on it. So anyway, for anyone else who would like to participate in the Faces of Westfield program, it's an interview by Westfield High School students who are in the Promise program, which is a college course that is being done at the high school through Westfield State University. So a little complicated. Mary Lou Najalski has all the details on that. So if you're interested, call the Senior Center at 562-6435 and you can sign up with Mary Lou. She'll give you all the details about that and pass your name and contact information over to the coordinator at the high school, Kristen, whose last name I can't remember right now, one of the teachers over there who's working on that. Also, just to remind folks, if you are interested in ballroom dancing, we have ballroom dancing at the Senior Center on the 4th Monday of every month from 2 to 4 p.m. The cost is $3. It's pay as you go. You don't have to sign up in advance. Our good friend Richie Midnick plays live music for you to dance to. So we just had our last ballroom dances past Monday for the month of February, but we do it every month. So join us for that. Also want to remind you that our nurse is at the Senior Center, courtesy of Bay State Noble Hospital. Thank you, Ron Bryant, for that. Mary Ellen Asher is at the Senior Center every Tuesday and Friday morning from 9 a.m. to noon. She'll do blood pressure checks, medication review, health education, whatever you need. So stop on by there. Got said that. It is 7 o'clock. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. We're going to take our top of the hour break. When we come back, I'll do a couple of announcements of some other things going on in the city of Westfield. And just remember that Beth Cardillo will be joining us second hour.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health, better together.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:04. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. It is 16 chilly degrees out there this morning. We're expecting a little bit of snow later on today.
2 to 4.
There's going to be there's going to be like a half an inch somewhere along the line, and then that's going to stop. And then a little bit later, it's going to be the 2 to 4 total.
No, it's going to start just after dark, probably.
Okay, because when I was on my way in, they were talking about maybe something a little after 1, but it's almost going to be like a dusting, and then that'll end.
And then start that early. Maybe for the Berkshires, it'll be starting a little earlier than us.
Yep, could be. And then ours is tonight, right? But ending by like 2 in the morning.
So if you have dinner plans, you'll be fine. Just take it easy. And then the heavier snow picks up around 9 or 10 o'clock and is done by about 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yes, and the nice thing, at least this time, Pete, that voice you hear is the chairman of the board, Pete Coles, over there, is no freezing rain or anything. This is strictly a snow event. They're billing this on all the local television channels as strictly a snow event.
So wake up a little earlier tomorrow and shovel your sidewalks early.
Yeah, just do a little shoveling, and because then I think it's supposed to get sunny tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
so shovel early because it's going to be light, fluffy snow.
Yeah, so yay. All right.
Once.
But exactly. But just keep in mind that it's the end of February. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. This is how I look at things. Okay, just a couple of announcements before I introduce our guest for this morning. Tonight, Pete, are you going to be taping this? The When Two Worlds Meet, Native Americans of Western Massachusetts?
That has been postponed.
Oh, it has. Oh, I was really glad I mentioned it because
all over Facebook.
Okay, it's all over because I was going to say it's still all over the news. So
yeah, it was postponed because the speaker has a very long distance to travel, and I think they're coming out of the Berkshires.
With the snow.
With the snow, they postponed it to March 20th. But look on the Westfield 350 website. But I believe that's the next date.
Well, I'm really glad I mentioned that. So that
good thing I pay attention.
Yeah. So the presentation on When Two Worlds Meet, Native Americans of Western Massachusetts. That's part of the 350th series. So that it should have been tonight, has been postponed.
March 20th. All right. Location to be determined.
Okay. Stay tuned and we will give you more info on that.
Yep.
And the other thing that I want to announce, and this sounds crazy because this event does not take place until Saturday, April 27th. However, we're already getting phone calls about this, Pete. So Saturday, April 27th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon in the Senior Center parking lot, CFS Westfield will have its shredding event, its annual shredding event. They always do this after tax season, so it's always after the 15th of April. But it was really funny because Mary Kohut, who is our clerk who answers the phone at the Senior Center, said to me last week, she goes, Tina, do you know anything about a shredding event? I've gotten like 3 phone calls about it already. Do you know when that is? And they said it's somewhere here. Mm-hmm. So I started laughing because Mary's new to my staff. And I said, yep. I said, it's in the Senior Center parking lot. It's in April. I said, I will get you the information. But usually what I start doing is announcing that sometime in February so people can start getting their documents ready, because this is an ideal opportunity to go through all those old papers and bills. You don't need your electric bill from 15 years ago. That can be shredded, because if it has personal information on it, it should be shredded. So start getting those documents ready. You still have 2 months, right? Yeah, today's February 27th. You have exactly 2 months. This is April 27th. And then the only other announcement I want to remind folks is a week from Saturday is the chocolate chowder and chili cook-off.
We plan on covering that, by the way. Kenny's got a
really?
deal. We're going to cover it for Channel 15, and he and John Slattery are going to go around and do some taste testing and talking to cooks and stuff.
Well, we entered. The Senior Center entered this year.
Okay.
Joanne Spear, our kitchen manager, and George Sfakios, our new kitchen assistant. It had never occurred to me before to have them do the contest. And when I was reading this off last month, when they were looking for, chefs and cooks and people who want to do this, I thought, hey, we should do that. So I threw it out to Joanne and George, and I said, listen, there's no pressure here, but if you want to, you can. So they did. And then they had to come up with a name for their team for this thing. And so they did.
What's the team name?
Team name is Hot Flash. We thought that was senior related enough. So anyway, yeah. So that's but the actual.
We're getting interviewed.
Yeah. So the actual. Oh, perfect.
Kenny, put it on your list.
Yeah. There you go, Kenny. If you're listening, get that down. So that will be a week from Saturday, March 9th. So good stuff happening. All right. It is 7:09. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. As promised, my guest this hour is Beth Cardillo, Executive Director of Armbrook Village. Welcome back, Beth.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be here, Tina.
I know. Beth is not new to WSKB for sure, but we haven't had you on in a little while, so I thought it was time to regroup. There's a lot going on at the state level. A lot going on that you are involved with, because I feel like every time I show up to a meeting, Beth is sitting next to me. So we're on a lot of advisory committees and whatever together. But let's start, Beth, we have about 5 minutes before we take our first break. So just for people who don't know you or maybe haven't heard you on the radio, just give us a little bit of your bio. Give us a little bit of your background and sort of how did you end up at Armbrook Village? Because it's not like you've been there for, 40 years of your career or anything like that.
No,
How'd you get there?
It feels like it.
I'm sure it does.
So I'm not 20, so I have a kind of a lengthy career.
That's okay.
Yeah, so my background actually started young, when I'm younger, as a social worker, and worked for a Center for Human Development, working with young people trying to get them jobs, kind of as a vocational guidance counselor. I've worked in the Westfield schools as a vocational guidance counselor for a few years, working with Dr. Al Rios, if anybody remembers him.
I do.
Yeah, I don't think he's around anymore.
Oh,
he's a great guy. I ran the Allied Health, I worked with the Allied Health program at both the high school and the vocational school. It was kind of a pilot program of having kids from the high school spend half their days at the folk school. So that was kind of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, my gosh.
Who knew? That was a long time ago.
Know.
Did kind of career counseling. From there I ended up working at Hartford Easter Seals, continuing my work in vocational education, and kind of discovered the whole world of traumatic brain injury. And that's really, I spent over 15 years working with folks who had car accidents, young people, didn't have really any place to go to after they finished rehab. And the statewide head injury program in Massachusetts decided to open the first state-funded head injury program in the country, and it happened to be in Westfield.
Yep, that's actually how that was my introduction to you. Yeah,
right.
that was the beginning.
So that was on the grounds of Western Mass Hospital.
Yes,
and I went from Hartford from doing that type of work, and they recruited me to do this in Westfield. So I was back in Westfield again after working at the high school. And from there, I went into the world of retirement living. Not my retirement, but working with adults.
How did that happen, Beth? How did you? Because you were with the SHIP program for a while,
long time.
The head injury program. How
things
did that
just kind of happen, and you fall into things.
Yep.
And I think I was just looking for something new. At this point, I'd been doing work in traumatic brain injury for a long time. And a friend approached me, was I interested in working with seniors at Glen Meadow Retirement Community in Long Meadow.
Oh, my God.
And I said, I really don't have any background. She said, well, you grew up in Long Meadow, so you know people. And
so there's your background.
And there you go.
Yeah,
and you're not exactly an
there.
Introvert, so perhaps you'd like to give this a try. So I did get the job, and I just kind of fell into it and did a good job.
No, so when you were recruited for Glen Meadow, what was your job there? What
I was the director of marketing.
Okay, all right.
So kind of,
yeah.
And then from there, went back to work in traumatic brain injury for a while, trying to kind of figure out where I belonged, and then worked at Keystone Commons in Ludlow, was hired as the executive director. So I started that. And, Tina, I get bored.
I know.
I did my job.
Beth always needs a new adventure.
I like startup. I like to start new things.
Yes.
And so then I got recruited for Armbrook Village back to Westfield again.
Yes.
So a lot of my working years have been in Westfield.
Yeah.
And we opened in April 1st, 2013. And I started 6 months before we opened. So I've been there since October 2012.
Yes. Beth has been there since before they had indoor plumbing.
Mine is sick. Oh, boy.
I can remember. She really did.
We had a little
she really did.
outdoor porta potty.
Yeah, she had and it was the middle of the winter.
It was the girls' porta potty because the construction crew had their own, and we really didn't want to share with them.
Yeah. I mean, you think I'm exaggerating, but I do remember no heat. She would, the hard hat, the whole thing.
We had a model apartment.
Yep.
And it was cold.
Yeah, exactly. And what a change now. I can't believe that was 6 years ago.
I'm in my 7th year.
That's amazing.
It is.
Are you hanging in though? You're not. She's making me a little nervous.
No, any place that I'm going to go afterwards will be retirement, right? And,
and plus, you know what?
There.
I think this opportunity at Armbrook has also given you lots of options in terms of. I know you do get bored, but you're always starting new things. And you're active with both within the community and at the state level. So
I'll say that one of the things that I strongly believe in, that a building is just a building. When you put people in it, it's a community. And the bigger community is Westfield in the greater Westfield area. And it's important for us to be a part of the community and to give back to the community. So I feel like we're not just at 551 North Road.
Yeah.
We're a part of the community.
For sure. All right. Well, that's a great sort of, background lead in. So, and it's kind of a good place to take a pause here. It is 7:15. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. And I have to say, today's the birthday of the late John Steinbeck. And I really wanted to have a song to honor him. And that was tricky to do, but I think I found the perfect song. It's called Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? It's by Bing Crosby. It was done back in the 1930s. And I think it really speaks to that whole era of the Grapes of Wrath and so forth. So enjoy.
They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob. When there was earth to plow or guns to bear, I was always there, right on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream, with peace and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line, just waiting for bread? Once I built a railroad, I made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower up to the sun, brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee doodly-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell, and I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember, they called me Al, it was Al all the time. Why don't you remember, I'm your pal. Say, buddy, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, ah, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee doodly-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell, and I was the kid with a drum. Oh, say, don't you remember, they called me Al, it was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal, buddy, can you spare a dime?
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes and Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. Ken's Den, Tuesday, 8 to 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:19. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 27th. It's a chilly day out there, so make sure you dress appropriately. We are expecting some snow later on, probably not until this evening. 2 to 4 inches. We're hoping that we can get it all cleared away and we won't have to do any wild and wacky things with school closings or delays or senior center delays. But stay tuned. Know that if we do have to do any of that, it will be posted on your local television channels and, of course, on the city website, and it'll be all over the place.
Channel 15, I think, runs across.
Channel 15, Lenore gets something up there. All right, my guest this morning is Beth Cardillo, Executive Director at Armbrook Village here in Westfield. Good morning again, Beth.
Good morning.
So we know a little bit about your background, so now we know how you ended up at Armbrook Village. What is Armbrook Village?
So, Armbrook Village, we are a 122 apartment building community that has folks that are independent, people that have lived locally and have a big house and their kids have moved out and they're tired of shoveling and they're tired of raking and they just want an easier life.
Yeah.
So, part of our building is for folks that don't need any services but just want an easier life, but they certainly get a lot of senior perks. In independent living, you still get a continental breakfast every day and lunch or dinner. So essentially, you don't have to do a whole lot of cooking.
Perfect.
And, part of the senior perks, we provide transportation to doctor's appointments, which 2 days a week, which for a lot of seniors, if the weather is lousy, like weather prediction, I don't feel like driving. Well, you can take the van.
Yeah.
So that works out really nice. But we also have a ton of activities in the building for everybody. So whether it's music and entertainment, and we have a lot of the singing trooper and all sorts of people that come in to provide entertainment. We have lectures. We have a horticulture program. We have somebody that comes in monthly and does a whole program. Everyone comes out with some type of plant, succulent, or something that they've learned about. We had guest speakers on genealogy. So there's always something interesting going on. But
you used to do a travel one. I don't know if you still do that.
We have a program called Grab Your Passport.
Grab Your Passport, that's
and it. And every month we look at a different country.
Yeah, I just think that's so
fascinating.
fascinating.
And that is so much fun because, it's like learning in later life what colleges, a lot of colleges have.
Right.
And this is kind of the same thing, except for we're all under one roof. So 1 month we went to Iceland, and what was lucky for that month is that I had just come back from Iceland. So I went and got Icelandic yogurt at Bread and Circus, or Whole Foods now, and Icelandic water, and I had pictures of Northern Lights and a whole slideshow, and it was so much fun. We've been to Abu Dhabi, we've been all over. We've been to Egypt, we've been everywhere, and if we can get it together, we all kind of come up with some outfit to wear.
Sort of pull your resources.
Yeah. And we've had fun doing that, and we usually have some food. Our chef will come up with some food from that country, and then we'll have some entertainment. We've had belly dancers. We've had just all sorts of different things from different countries. We did France. We had a little bistro, and we had a French wine tasting.
Oh my God.
So it really is. Right? So, we're the ship that never leaves port.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I love that.
Yeah. And, so we do a ton of stuff. All the apartments have emergency pull cords. So even if you're in independent living, things happen if you have a fall or whatever. Our nurses' aides are there 24/7, so they'll come running within minutes or seconds to make sure you're okay or do what they need to do.
Now, Beth, for the independent living, we'll start there. 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, studios, or what do you have?
We have all that. We have a few studios.
Okay.
We have the majority of 1 bedrooms, and we have 8 2-bedroom apartments.
Okay.
And we also do housekeeping. It includes all your utilities, basic extended cable, everything but telephone.
Okay. And then, so that's independent living. And how many of those units do you have altogether? So approximately.
So we have, we did have about 45, and I'll tell you what we have since done.
Okay.
It seemed like there were more people needing assisted living.
Yeah.
So we got the approval from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs to convert 12 apartments on the second floor to assisted living.
Okay.
So what's nice about them is that those apartments, because they're independent living, they're bigger, and they have a washer and dryer and a full kitchen. So they're kind of deluxe apartments. So there are some people that are on the second floor in independent living that all of a sudden needed assisted living and they didn't have to move.
Yes.
So that was kind of nice. So we went down 12 and up 12 in our assisted living.
Well, and it's kind of based on supply and demand. It's what, you don't want people on a wait list and then empty apartments over here. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. So this seemed to make a lot of sense. So we're in the process of doing that.
So explain the difference for our listeners, Beth. What is the difference between the independent living and assisted living? What do you get here?
So assisted living is what it is for people that do need assistance. And they could need assistance in many different areas. You could have people that have just some regular physical problems. They may have, chronic heart disease or COPD or something where they're doing okay cognitively, but they need some physical assistance. So they may need help with showering. It may not be safe for them to shower themselves. Maybe they have multiple sclerosis or whatever.
Yes.
So they need some assistance in those areas. But we have a lot of people that have some short-term memory issues, that have some mild cognitive impairment, that are in traditional assisted living. Mm-hmm. They don't need to be in a secure area.
Yep. They need a little boost.
Yeah, they need a boost.
Yep.
Living at home wasn't safe anymore.
Yep.
We don't want people leaving the stove on. So our assisted living apartments do not have a stove because we give you all 3 meals.
Okay.
That's one of the big differences.
Okay, so that's a difference.
So you have a kitchenette with a refrigerator which holds perfect size for half gallons of ice cream from Friendly's.
Well, there you go.
The freezer.
And say no more.
That's
what do you
right.
need?
What more do you need?
Right.
So we have a small refrigerator, sink, and microwave, so you can heat up things good for leftovers.
Yeah,
but again, we give you all your meals. Everything is handicapped accessible, no matter what apartment you're in.
Yeah.
So the assisted living, the 1-bedroom apartment, they're very cute. They're about 560 square feet. So you know
that's a great size.
Yeah, full size bedroom, handicapped accessible bathroom, living room, and your little kitchen area.
Perfect.
And so we also have studios, 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms in assisted living. So we'll provide help with showers, help with getting dressed, help with medication, and it's called self-administered medication management. We don't administer medication. We will take it out of a lockbox, have the person take the medication, and we document that they took it.
And I think that's by law, correct?
Correct.
That you're not allowed to administer.
It's interesting. Different states do assisted living differently. In Massachusetts, assisted living is based on a residential model.
Yeah.
In Connecticut, it's a little bit more medical.
More of a medical
model.
They
can do insulin injections, and we can't.
Okay. Well, I can remember, and you probably weren't in the field at the time because you were, I think, still doing head injury, but I can remember when assisted living was not regulated in Massachusetts.
Right.
When you could hang your shingle out and say, okay, this is Gorman's Assisted Living. Come on in, So there have been a lot of changes over the years.
Absolutely. We are regulated by the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. As a matter of fact, our 2-year certification is up April 1st. I just sent in my very long, huge application to them yesterday. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. We also, in terms of activities, whether you're an independent assisted, it doesn't really matter. We do a lot of exercise classes, and I know you do that at the senior center also. We know there's so much evidence-based research out there about how important it is for seniors to continue moving, but also helping for balance, falls prevention for them.
Absolutely.
So we have exercise classes every day. They're through the American Arthritis Foundation. Great stretching exercises. We also have yoga classes. So
yes, I know because my yoga instructor is up at I have seen her up there. We share a yoga. Renee Ricks. Yeah.
So we do a lot, and we change it up. We have a walking club as well.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And a lot of our residents, we have 4 floors.
Yeah.
A lot of our residents in the winter
walk indoors.
What they'll do is they'll take the elevator up to the 4th floor.
Okay.
And they'll walk 10 minutes on each floor, walk down. And if they can't do stairs, take the elevator down to the 3rd floor, walk a few times on the 3rd floor, then the 2nd, and then the 1st.
I love that. I have been preaching that forever because when we were at the old senior center, we were across the courtyard from General Shepherd Apartments, and I used to say to the residents there, that building it's huge and it's old, and so there are hallways that, like, you're walking down a hallway and all of a sudden you're on a different floor. It's just an amazing building. And I said, you are all under one roof. You could do exactly that. You could do a walking club indoors.
Listen, we live in New England.
Absolutely.
We live in New England.
Well,
the people that go to the mall.
I was just going to say that it's the mall walkers, but you don't have to go to the mall. You can, it's the assisted living
do
walkers.
Everything under one roof.
I love that.
So that's really kind of neat. And then when the weather is nice, we'll go to the res and walk and yeah. So we think exercise is incredibly important, and we also have a little gym. We have a few machines. So it's people that want to do that. So, yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's important.
And when we come back, I think I want to say one thing, and then we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the memory unit. But, one of the things that about you, Beth, is, and I've worked with you for many years, and I've heard this word, you keep bringing it up, the therapeutic value, sort of the therapeutic value. We know the therapeutic value of exercise. I just had a woman who put and then I saw her afterwards, she put an article in my box on the therapeutic value of gardening. And you were talking about your horticulture program.
We have a garden club too.
Exactly. And it's, there is therapeutic value to so much of what you do up at Armbrook.
Right.
It's not, and I want the listeners to know, it's not like this isn't just by accident, or it isn't just like, hey, let's do this, or hey, let's do that.
There's reasons behind everything.
It's evidence-based.
When we're back from break, I'd like to talk about the word purpose.
Okay.
And also our Connected Life program, which is pretty amazing.
Okay, love to. Let's take a break. It is 7:31. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield Masses. So today's National Retro Day, Beth, by the way. So we're playing some retro songs. This is one of my all-time favorite retro songs because I love to dance. So here it is, by the Contours.
You broke my heart because I couldn't dance. You didn't even want me around. And now I'm back to let you know I can really shake them down. Do you love me? I can really move. Do you love me? I'm in the groove. Do you love me? Do you love me? Now that I can dance. Watch me now. Hey, work, work, work it out, baby. Work, work, well you driving me crazy. Work, work, just a little bit slow now. Work. I can mash potato. I can mash potato. Do the twist. I can do the twist. Now tell me, baby. Tell me, baby. Do you like it like this? Do you like it like this? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Do you love me? 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 Now that I can dance. Watch me now. Oh, shake it up, shake it. Oh, shake it, shake it down. Oh, and slow down. Oh, get it, baby. All right, baby. Oh, don't get lazy. Mashed potato. Mashed potato. Do the twist. Do the twist. Well, now tell me, baby. Tell me, baby. Do you like it like this? Do you like it like this? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Wow. Do you love me? 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 Do you love me?
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.com. westfieldstateuniversity.org. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. That's what you'll find on Ken's Den, Tuesdays from 8 till 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:35. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and my guest this morning is Beth Cardillo. Beth is the executive director of Armbrook Village. So welcome again, Beth.
Thank you.
So we're having just a great discussion, and you had a couple of points that you wanted to make. We were talking about therapeutic activities and programs and so forth at Armbrook. And what did you want to talk about?
So, two things. One is, I guess my new word for this year is purpose. That regardless of what age we are, what we've done in our life, everybody needs purpose in their life.
I couldn't agree more.
And you could be 98 years old, you still need some purpose. And so I think that's kind of part of what we do at Armbrook is we want to make sure that people do have purpose. Mm-hmm. So there are so many activities to get involved in. Somebody just discovered they're actually a pretty good artist.
Really?
And because we have painting classes. Amy Porcelli comes in. She's an art therapist. And this woman, wow, she's doing, and you know, and you could not be a great artist. It doesn't matter, but enjoy it.
Yeah.
But things for people to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And again, no matter what age, everybody needs to feel important. And we have to remember that people had, whatever jobs they had, they could have been school teachers, accountants, whatever, firefighters, and they're not doing that anymore. And so much in this country, so much of our own identity is tied up with what we do. The first thing we say when we meet someone, hi, how are you? What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
And so what do you do when you're 90? And so they've lost that identity, kind of just leaves. And so I think it's important to fill that in with other purposeful activities.
Absolutely. And there's you talk about evidence-based. There is so much research and evidence to have you ever read the book? It's by Joan Chittister. It's called The Gift of Years. Have you ever read that book?
Haven't.
I have to get you a copy of that. I just gave that copy to the son of one of my seniors who is just so dedicated to just that, trying to make sure mom, who's had a couple of strokes, still has purpose and meaning. And he is amazing in and of himself. Yes, that would be Jack. But I gave that book to him to read. And of course, like he read it in a night, but I actually gave it to him to read with his mom because it's broken down. You can just, it talks so much about so many different aspects of our life and so forth. And that whole purpose, it's a book you should read.
Part of that also, perfect segue into our Connected Life program. So talking about people that have dementia, and let me just say this because everyone gets so confused. What's Alzheimer's? What's dementia? What's the difference? So in 10 seconds, I can clear the whole thing up. So the big umbrella is dementia. Mm-hmm. And under that umbrella, there are now 100 different types of dementia.
Which is amazing.
That number keeps increasing. They kind of discover new things. So Alzheimer's is a type of dementia, but it takes up 75% of all those other dementias. So that's why you hear about Alzheimer's so often, because it's the big one. But besides Alzheimer's, there are 99 other types of dementias.
Right, exactly.
So we started a program a few years ago. We recognized the fact that there were people wandering around our building and they weren't going to activities. And I kept seeing them. I'd be in the elevator, they'd be in the elevator. I'd be on the stairs, they'd be in the stairs. And I said, why do I keep seeing a few people walking around and not involved, not engaged? I felt like they were wilting flowers instead of blossoming flowers. And we realized that we had a good amount of people living in our building that had more cognitive impairment but they're not a wanderers, they don't need to be in a kind of secure area, but they needed something, they needed purpose.
Yeah.
So we started this program called Connected Life. It's specifically for people with mild cognitive impairment. We hired an occupational therapy assistant, Susan O'Donnell, who now has a blog. She is like phenomenal. And she's all evidence-based. Everything she does is therapeutic.
Yep.
And this program runs from 9:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, 7 days a week.
Oh, my goodness.
And we have 15 women in it now. So it's kind of like this women's club.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of it, it's some of the same activities we do in the rest of the building, but it's fail-proof, and it's a little bit slower.
Yep.
And it's cognitively designed so people have a better sense of understanding what they're doing.
Yep.
So it's more in their language.
Perfect.
And it has been a home run. And it's been such a home run, we started thinking, because there you go again, what am I going to do next?
I was going to say, Beth, I see the light bulb already.
And the light bulb went on.
Yep.
Is like, well, what are we doing for all these guys that are walking around the building? And at this point, I don't think it will work to have males in there because it's so what it is.
Yes, it is. Yep,
so
exactly.
we actually met this guy who is in his mid-50s who actually has retired and is looking for some meaningful things to do in his life.
Okay.
He happens to be a friend of mine. She asked if I would meet with him to talk about volunteer positions at different agencies that I may know. And he and I met at Little George's, and we decided, well, why don't you just volunteer with us?
Yeah, exactly.
So he went through our employee orientation, and he is... he's a financial guy.
Yep.
And he's just...
Who knew?
An interesting guy, a little Renaissance man. And he's now meeting with 6 or 7 of the guys. And we started this pilot program. And we're meeting right now just 2 times a week, a few hours a day, just to kind of see how it looks, what's going to happen.
Awesome.
So that's kind of my next little thing that I'm working on.
Well, I think, it's interesting because I've been in the field of gerontology or working with older adults for many, many, many years. And traditionally, the focus has been on women. I mean, whether it's in nursing homes or whether it's in senior housing or, whatever, because there are more of them and they outlive men. However, it was super interesting to me that I was at a board meeting, one of my board meetings last month or the month before, and I was going over my annual report for the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. And one of my board members, Carrie Kobasa, who is a resident of Westfield, used to run the Granby, Connecticut Senior Center. She's also on the NISC team, which is the National Institute of Senior Centers. And she was on the accreditation team. So she would go around and see all these other senior centers and so forth. And she was saying that when she read my annual report, what struck her the most was the percentage of people utilizing the senior center that were male, which she said was off the charts compared to what she was seeing at other places around the country. She said, there would be like 0.2%,
Sure.
And we're up at around like 30%. I mean, we're way up there. And I think part of that is creating an atmosphere where men feel welcome, and also just paying attention to what their needs are. So
Absolutely.
I think in you doing that, Beth, at Armbrook, we've kind of done that. We started a year and change ago. We started an exercise class. One of my observations was we didn't have any men participating in the fitness classes at the senior center. For the number of classes that we had, they were pretty much all women. And so I decided that the only way to really get the men involved was to create an all-male class. So that's what we did. We created Male Call, M-A-L-E Call. And it's taught by a guy who graduated from Westfield State. Greg Hannum teaches it. He was a movement science major. That class, it started as a once a week until the men came to me and said, we really need to be, if we really want to get in shape, we got to be doing this more than once a week. So I said, okay, give me another morning that you want to do it. So now it's twice a week.
Oh, that's great.
But I
That's
think
great.
it's, to your point, Beth, it is paying attention to that need. And I think starting this group
and
is
see what's happening in your
and having a male do it for you.
Right. So we'll see how this goes. We hope that we expand it. At some point, Mark, our volunteer, will probably not be there forever, but this is just a start.
Well, he's getting it started.
Looking at it, and he's come up with some great ideas. And
I love it. How great is that? Oh, I love it.
So we're excited about that. So that's
Okay.
cool. I always think when I come on here, I'm never going to have I'm going to run out of things to say.
No, you're not going to run. You're not going to run out of things. We're going to run out of time. We're going to run out of time.
Hours.
We're going to take our quarter-hour break, and because when we come back, I want to talk about dementia-friendly Massachusetts. I want to talk about a big event that's coming up in April. So we'll leave just enough time for that. It is 7:44. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses, in honor of National Retro Day. This one is the Drifters, and in keeping with my dance theme, this is Save the Last Dance for Me. We'll be back.
You can dance every dance with the guy that gives you the eye. Let him hold you tight. You can smile every smile for the man who held your hand beneath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Ooh, oh I know that the music's fine like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun. Oh I know, laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. 'Cause don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Ooh, baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I would never, never let you go. I love you oh so much. You can dance, oh carry on till the night is gone and it's time to go. You can dance. If he asks, if you're all alone, can he take you home? You must tell him no. 'Cause don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Save the last dance for me. Save the last dance for me. Save the last.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:49. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and my guest this morning is Beth Cardillo, Executive Director of Armbrook Village. So we have been talking about all things Armbrook Village and therapy and purpose and all kinds of great stuff. I want to kind of turn the conversation a bit, Beth, over to the whole concept of dementia, which you so eloquently explained what dementia is compared to, it's the umbrella. Alzheimer's is under that umbrella, along with 99 other dementia diagnoses. I want to talk about the dementia-friendly concept because Westfield, you brought that concept to Westfield. I'd never even heard of it. And now the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, several years ago, started the whole let's make Massachusetts dementia-friendly. So explain to us what that means. What is dementia-friendly? What does that mean?
So it's interesting. So I heard about dementia-friendly from an article I read in AARP probably 6 years ago from a woman in Wisconsin that ran an assisted living facility, and she talked about starting a dementia-friendly town.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reading it, and it's talking about really how to educate everybody in the town what dementia is, so we can kind of destigmatize the myth and have people have a better understanding of what dementia is. So if you're lost and you have dementia and you end up at the gas station and you don't know where you are, that maybe the kid at the gas station says, I know a little bit about this.
Yes.
It's really spreading the word about what dementia is, not to be fearful of people that have dementia, learning how to talk to people with dementia, kind of communication tips. So after I read this article, I just said, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I work for senior living residences. They're out of Braintree. We have 18 other communities. Ours is the only one in Western Mass. The other 16 are in the Boston area and one in New Hampshire now. And I said, this is this is a goal. I want to do this. And so what we started doing is talking. We started with the EMTs.
Yep.
A lot of them, the whole fire department.
Yes.
And then the VNA, Westfield Noble Hospital VNA. And what we did was enable to give people the feeling of what it's like to have dementia by doing the dementia experience, where I can't tell you the whole thing because they'll let the cat out of the bag, but we kind of alter your senses. So you're kind of in a state of confusion. So none of us really know what it feels like because we don't have it, but we kind of alter everything and just have you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep.
And people, what they get out of it is feeling somewhat helpless and anxious and frustrated, and the take home from that is usually, wow, I really need to slow down when I'm working with people with dementia.
Right.
Here I am giving them a list of 6 things to do, and they're still on number 1. So I say it's like talking to a teenager.
Yeah. Right.
So that's, and then the other part that we do is that we have a PowerPoint that really talks the nitty gritty about dementia, but in a way that anybody could understand it.
Yep.
So Julie Wineski is my director of community relations. She and I have taken the show on the road, and we've spoken to thousands of people, and we will continue to do that. So we were in the Irving, Mass COA.
Oh, wow.
That's really far.
Yeah, it is. It's near it's past Greenfield. I used to know somebody who lived in Irving.
We're at the Greenfield COA recently. So we'll do talks to anybody, with anyone, Westfield State University and the nursing students. We can either bring it to you or have people come to us.
Yep.
And we've spoken at major conferences. So what happened after we started doing this, and then we started doing it at all of our other senior living communities, is that the state kind of got involved.
Yes.
And said, let's make this a Massachusetts initiative. So Westfield has the distinction of being the first dementia-friendly community on the East Coast.
Yep.
And it started with us. Mayor Knappich and then Mayor Sullivan have fully embraced it. We've done it with Town Hall. We've done it with the mayor. And we will continue to do this. Other communities have done it differently. And now it's really, it's gotten to be a big thing. Like there's books about it and roadmaps of how to do it. And their goal is to have all 350 communities in Massachusetts become dementia friendly. So I know like Longmeadow just started it, and they're doing it with the senior center in conjunction, some of the retirement communities. So everybody may do it differently, but the end result is the same thing.
The goal is the same.
You
know, it's really interesting. I think that initially, Beth, correct me if I'm wrong, was this a concept that started in Europe?
So it's interesting. Boy, they do everything right. The United Kingdom, as well as Denmark, Sweden. They have dementia villages.
And the only reason I know this was when I was doing my preparation for the Retire with Fire program this year, and I wanted to focus on the dementia aspect of it, and first responders as well as firefighters working with folks with dementia in a crisis. All of the information that I could get on that
came from the United Kingdom.
Yeah. Every single article on that. And I'm going on their websites. It's like standard stuff for them.
Yep.
And I thought, oh my gosh, we have to get up to speed.
Yeah.
We have got to get up to speed. So we just have a few minutes left, but I want you to talk a little bit about, speaking of dementia, talk about a big event that's coming up in mid-April for you.
So on April 13th at the Log Cabin, starting at 5:30 p.m., is the benefit gala. It's from the Pioneer Valley Friends of the Alzheimer's Association. It's a group that's committed to raising funds for the Alzheimer's Association. It started years ago with Memories in the Making. It was an art auction. God, we started it at Westfield State, actually, many years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember.
And then it was at the Jewish Community Center. And then it was just this little appetizer thing and pictures. And we decided to kind of go up a notch there, and now it's a big event.
Oh my God! Now it's this.
It's
got music and food and all kinds of stuff.
So last year we raised about $15,000 for the Alzheimer's Association. This year probably will be close to the same, if not more.
Oh, we're going for more.
So part of it is we have artwork that many of the assisted living communities have been working with their residents. It's a program called Memories in the Making that's through the Alzheimer's Association, where activity folks get training on how to do this art program. So a lot of the art comes to us and it's on display and it's for sale. It's no longer an auction. It's just a flat price.
Right.
And they're cute. They're really sweet.
There's some really great.
There's also
some great
the
artwork
story
there.
of the person that did the artwork and what the artwork means to them. And it's really a reminiscent program.
Yeah.
Right? It's about their emotions.
It's really cool.
So that evening at the Log Cabin, we have great food, great music. Sarah the Fiddler will be there.
Oh my
A group
God.
called Decades and Now's the Time Jazz Sextet. Last few years, there has been dancing all night there.
Oh my God, the music was fabulous last
really
year.
Fun. Ashley Cole is the MC, and so I have to talk about myself for just a second.
Yes, you do have to talk about yourself for just a second, Beth.
I'm being honored this year as I think it's really their way of saying it's time to retire. But
no,
I am
it's not.
this year's recipient for the work that I've done with Alzheimer's. So I am very, very honored, flattered beyond belief.
And we're really proud.
So
Westfield
thank
is
you.
really proud.
So I'm excited.
It's quite an honor.
So we have a lot of people coming, and it will be a really fun night.
And they have a bunch of raffle items, not auction, like raffle
right,
items.
There are.
too.
There's
you got to say that.
There's gift certificates. There's
there's
artwork by
wonderful.
Jane Barrientos. There's artwork from.
I won last year this set of mugs that I absolutely just thought they're like, I drink tea, but they're like coffee or tea mugs, and they're handmade. They're pottery. I love them. I mean, I know it's like, I remember Gary thinking, really, we don't need mugs? And I said, no, I know, but I'm getting rid of all the ones that I don't care about.
Time to
because
replace with
these
new
are
ones.
like really just these two. And I know Gary was using one the other day for his tea. And just lots of different things to bid on and different ways to, help raise the funds.
Yeah, and we raised a lot of money last year with that. There's also a 50-50 raffle that we do. It's just a fun evening.
It is.
One of the gifts last year was a big beach bag with everything in it for the beach. I really had my eye on that, but I did not.
You didn't win
it.
that one?
No. So anyway, I hope tickets. So
I was going to say, so if somebody wanted to attend, how do they get tickets?
Two different ways. For online, you can go to Eventbrite.
Okay.
And I hope most people know what that is. And it's on April 13th. So if you just look up the date, April 13th, Eventbrite will take you.
And what is it called, Beth?
So it will say, search Painting the Face on Alzheimer's Benefit Gala.
Okay.
So, or you can contact Claudette Swaby at 636-5462. She's also selling tickets if you don't want to go on Eventbrite.
Do you have an extra one of those that I can put on my bulletin board? Can you give me this one?
To you.
I'm going to put this one right up on the bulletin board when I get back to the senior center.
And it's just a fun night. We always have a good time.
And you know why? It's a fun night because of the people. I mean, it's just the people that are involved. Really, when people are involved in this kind of work, they're just great people. And so you put them all together in a room and throw some music in the background and some good food and raffle prizes, and it's a good time.
It's a hit. So we hope that you'll come. It will be a fun night. You could call us also at Armbrook Village at 568-0000. Easy number, 4 zeros, for more information. And I'm almost out of time. I just wanted to mention one other thing.
Go ahead.
We have a support group through the Alzheimer's
Yes,
Association.
thank you, because it meets tonight.
It does meet tonight. I was certified, many, probably 10 years ago, to be a facilitator for support groups. And it is for caregivers. It is not necessarily for people, family members that reside at Armbrook Village. It's really for the community. So it's a combination. We get some people that are family members from our place, but also most of the people are from the community. We get anywhere from 6 to 20 people.
Yeah.
And we have a core group of about 10 people that have come religiously for the last 5 years. We have people that their family member has since passed away and they still come to the meetings.
Wow.
It is an awesome evening. We provide, it's last Wednesday of every month, so it's tonight. It's from 6 to 8 o'clock. We provide a light dinner. We think we all go because the food is so good. They do a nice job. And by the way, we'll be at the chili cook-off too. We haven't won yet. We've been doing it for years.
There you go. All right.
So anybody is welcome. You don't have to RSVP. You just need to show up.
Yeah.
And it's a great group. Tonight, actually, we have a guest speaker, Candace Conroy from Ascend Hospice is coming to talk.
Oh, nice.
And
okay,
so
very
sometimes
good.
we have guest speakers.
Yeah.
So,
well, we are always, getting that information out to people for that particular support group, because I don't think there's another one in Westfield anymore. Yeah.
And a lot of our folks, they tell me that they also go to other ones. So it's obviously been a home run for what folks need in terms of support, guest speakers, resources.
Yep. And, just to let people know as well, because I've had people ask me, and I know we're out of time and Pete's given me the signal, but people have said to me, do you have an Alzheimer's support group at the senior center? I'm a firm believer in not reinventing the wheel and pooling our resources. And, Beth, as you know, Beth and I have worked together for lots of different programs. I work with the Arbors on certain programs. I work with the YMCA on certain programs. So, we don't run a support group at the senior center because I steer people to Beth's because she's the expert in that. It is 8:02. Beth Cardillo, I want to thank you for joining me this morning.
My
Again,
pleasure.
Your
Thank
number
you.
at Armbrook is 568-0000. It's one of the few numbers that I don't have to look in my Rolodex.
You got it.
We will
Thank
be
you so
back
much.
next week. I have Dr. Gary Gorman and Acting Chief Pat Egloff, and Harry Rock is here to take it away with Rock On Westfield.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental.